Let me ask you a question. Can somebody pass PTE with 65 or more in 1 month? Let me tell you about my student Rio. She's someone who messaged me a few months ago, probably like around 2, 3 months, and she told me, Emilio, I am a nurse, I am from Japan, and I live in countryside Victoria. And I'm using English every day, countryside Victoria, for those of you in Australia. And then, she told me, I've been listening to your podcast. Thank you for the support. The podcast link is in the video description. And then she was telling me, look, Emilio, I need to get 65 or more because I am a nurse. I want to, get all my PR process here. And I said, fantastic. And then I told her about my course. And we basically focused in the most important things to do well in the test. But she had a few challenges. Coming from Japanese, and I was telling this to her, like one of the biggest challenges that you have, it is vocabulary. Because as you can imagine, Japanese is really different from English, right? So I had to get her to do lots of reading practice, lots of working on the vocabulary. And I told her, look, when you come and study with me, you're going to notice that I don't tell you do templates, I don't tell you to memorize this, I don't tell you to try to trick the exam. All my focus is on building up our skills so that when you go and you take the test, number one, you feel comfortable. Number two, you have a better level of English, because the reality, or at least this is what I believe, I firmly believe that no English, no test. No English, no test. I told her this, she said, Emilio, let's do this, let's work together. And over the course of 4 weeks, we basically started building up her skills. She would be asking questions in the group, she would be doing all the homework, all the practice materials, and she would also complain to me saying, hey, I did a mock test, I got a bad score, or this happened, that thing happened. I tried these things, some things work, some things didn't work. She even apologized, Emilio, I couldn't do my homework because, I'm busy with work, this and that. I couldn't find the time to study. I wanted to make time to study, but it was really difficult. And, I'm also a migrant in Australia. I was an international student and I was there. I know how that feels. So I said, look, don't worry. Let's try to make the most of what you have, the most of the practice time that we have in class, in the course, the most of what you can do with your skills. She also struggled not only with vocabulary, she was struggling with the describe image. And we realized that even though her speaking was really good, her pronunciation was really clear, she had very good fluency, she struggled here because this is not something that it's common on a day-to-day practice. I mean, I'm sure that nurses can look at images and can look at a graph, but it's not something that maybe they do all the time. In fact, I don't know many people who, I rarely get people coming to me telling me, Emilio, I really like the describe image. I think this is like probably in the top 3 of those questions that people hate from PTE. Hate is a strong word, but you know what I'm trying to say, that people don't like it. And luckily, after a few weeks, and I told her, look, this is not, when you come and study with me, this is not going to be like you come with me to class for a week or for 2 days, and then I will tell you one thing, and then boom, you're going to be ready for the test. We need to spend a bit of time. Don't rush into taking the exam because you don't want to be in the cycle of doing the test a few times. It's a bit like when you go to the gym. You don't go to a gym and you tell them, hey, look, I want to get in shape, I want to get a full six-pack in 1 month, right? So the same logic applies with the exam. So we need to build up our skills. And telling her that, and look, over the course of a month, we got to the point where she was asking me this question. She wanted, and I had to tell her to stop, but she wanted to do she wanted to do mock tests. So she said to me, hey, Emilio, I wanted to do a mock test. I sent a few mock tests for homework, and I told her, look, the mock test is good. We were using a Uni. I said, look, the mock test is good. let's keep practicing. But she kept going, no, 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 I want to do a mock test, I want to do another mock test. And I said, well, look, I'm not sponsored by Pearson, I'm not sponsored by Ape Uni or PTE Success and all those websites. I am sponsored by you guys. I'm sponsored by my students, by people on Instagram, on YouTube. All the links to my social media are down below. And you know, basically from people that I do translations. I'm also a native translator, by the way, so if you speak Spanish and you need to bring a document into Australia, get in touch. So my WhatsApp link is in the video description. So anyways, I said, look, maybe if you really want, take the mock test from Pearson, right? So she took mock test from Ape Uni and it was good. And I said, look, now that you did this one, I guess the next step is to get the mock test from Pearson. And she asked me, why do you recommend that? I can't just keep using Ape Uni. And this is my logic, okay? Hear me out. I told her, look, imagine that Ape Uni is a good resource, but it's a little bit like you have an iPhone, okay, or a Samsung, right? A lot of my students have iPhone or Samsung, or you know, Apple and what is it called, an Android. But I said to her, look, you can go on Amazon, you can go on any website, you can go even in a shop here in Australia, you can go to Kmart and you can buy a charger for an iPhone or for Android for, I don't know, $10, right? But if you go to the Apple store or if you go to the Samsung store, then how much is that charger? Maybe the same charger costs $40, maybe $50. So I said, look, on that same logic, these guys are the ones who make the test. So maybe just to be extra safe, just to get a bit of extra practice, just to maybe you have a bit of extra pressure, because these mock tests from Pearson is a bit more serious. You pay for the exam and you cannot like do a section. So I said, look, just go and do it. Let's see how much you get. Normally, this is just based purely on experience, okay? This is my personal experience and what I've noticed with students. Normally, the score that people get here, so this mock test, so it's usually lower than the real test. Lower than the real test. So in her case, because she was aiming for a 65 or more, I said, let's see how much you get. And surprise, surprise, she got a 60 for this one from memory. I'll put it here somewhere next to me. So she did the mock test from Pearson, and the point is she got a good score. It was good that part of me said, look, just keep practicing, keep doing these things that I'm telling you, and I'm sure that, you know, when you go into the exam, you're going to be fine. And I was very confident. And guess what happened? Test day comes, she has to go, I think she came to Melbourne or maybe to Ballarat. No, I think she went to Ballarat. And then took the test, and guess what? She smashed it. She got a really, really good score. I'll put it here next to me. But there is a problem. Unfortunately, for like 1 or 2 points, she missed the score, right? So she needed to take the test one more time. And, you know, she messaged me, obviously, with like a crying emoji, feeling sad. Emilio, I didn't pass my test. And I said, no crying. This is normal. This happens to all of us. The attempt before I took my best PTE score, I had 3 bands with more than 80 and 1 band with 78. And I needed 79 on each band. So I said, no. I know it feels horrible. I know you're heartbroken. No crying. Let's focus into what we have to do for the next attempt. And then, you know, I think the second attempt, something happened. Unfortunately, something happened. And I said to her, look, don't get disappointed because, you know, I think she had somebody loud next to her or something in the exam happened. She maybe wasn't feeling right, you know. We all have extra pressure, extra challenges. But then on her third and final attempt, she got the test. I got the text message. I'll put it here next to me somewhere in the video. And she told me, Emilio, thank you so much. I passed my test. Now I can move on and keep studying, keep doing, you know, all these other things I have to do for my visa and my PR. So lessons that I think that you can learn from Rio. So number 1 is 65 doable in a month? I think yes, but remember, it really depends on your starting point. Every student is different. I'm not gonna come here on YouTube and be like, oh yeah, just do these tricks and you're gonna get 65 in PTE. It's not like that. It doesn't work that way. Some people say that it works that way, but that's not true. That's another topic. But anyways, the other thing, being a nurse, so she was really busy. I think we are all busy. You're probably busy right now. And thank you for watching this video despite being busy. So please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you find this content useful. So despite being busy, she was looking for time to practice, to do the homework, to get in touch. And even in the countryside, which, I mean, for some people could be like a challenge. I think she loves life there, so that's no worries. So she focused on these two challenges and some other little things that happened in the test, like, of course, polishing grammar, getting comfortable, time management. And she did the test a few times. I mean, and that's all right. That can happen. But in the end, she did get her score. And most importantly, she did not give up, because that's sometimes a problem. And this is one example and a case, guys, of somebody who not only didn't give up, but someone that was really close. And sometimes we may need a final push. Sometimes maybe it is that maybe we are a bit stressed out, or that something happens and we don't perform as well. That's okay, If professional athletes, now that we have the World Cup starting, in like 2 weeks, if, Neymar and Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi, if they get injured, and they have like the best support, imagine us, practicing for PTE, stressed, thinking about life in Australia, the visa, things in our country, maybe problems, things with family, drama, I don't know. And despite feeling like this, she didn't give up, and then she passed her exam, and now, like you will be doing very soon, now she's just moving on with other things in Australia. So I hope you like this video, and I hope something good from this story came to you. I hope that this resonated with you. And look, if you are interested in knowing how I can help you out with your IELTS preparation, with your PTE preparation, feel free to check the link in the description. I have got pre-recorded courses. I do classes, either one-on-one. I also do courses. Sometimes it is an intensive course. Sometimes it is like a 3, 4, even 5-week course. So the best thing to do is to either leave me a comment here on YouTube, or even better, message me directly on WhatsApp. I'm here to help. As I told you before, if you do need a translation, I'm a NATI certified translator. I'll help you out with that as well. For you, Rio, because I'm sure you're watching, because I asked you, can I make a video about your story? And for you, Rio, congratulations. But nah, congratulations. Omedetou gozaimasu. Korekara mo ganbatte ne. And big thank you for watching. If you like this video, I already told you, like it, subscribe it. And look, if you are thinking, should I do IELTS or should I do PTE? Don't worry, I have this video right here for you where I compare the two exams, and I'll see you in this video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and bye for now.